Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist and Integrity doing a hero deck profile. So I'm really excited to do this for you guys because this deck is a really awesome deck that can consistently throw out multiple boss monsters on the field to just help you go in for game. We just got an amazing new support card for this deck in the form of E in Shuffle, which helps out the consistency of this deck a lot. So without further ado guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell there so you can become part of Notification Squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below for all those awesome rewards, like getting your name description in every single video, getting assigned cards in the mail, and even getting to request a deck profile every single month to your patron. So without further ado, let's get straight on into this. So first off, we're going to be playing two copies of Elemental Hero Stratos. Two copies of Stratos in this particular build is totally fine because we have a bunch of ways to get to this card, like our copy of A Hero Lives. Now this card is one of the best cards in the entire deck because when this card is normal or special summon, you get to add any hero monster you want from your deck to your hand. I then play two copies of Elemental Hero Shadow Mist. This card is absolutely crazy in the deck and it has some really good effects that if this card is special summon, you can add a change quick play spell card from your deck to your hand. And if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can add a hero monster from your deck to your hand, except for the copy of this card, but you can only use either or of its search effects per turn, which is a really awesome thing to just instantly get into a copy of Dark Law by special summoning this card to your side of the field and searching out Match Change, or you get a search by sending it to the graveyard of another hero monster by sending it to grave with cards like Vision Hero Vion. I then play a single copy of Elemental Hero Liquid Soldier. This card is a really good one-of in the deck so that we can go into our copy of Absolute Zero, but it also has a really awesome effect that if this card is used as fusion material for a hero monster and is sent to the grave or banished, you get to draw two cards and then discard a card, which will help you dig for more combo pieces. I then play a single copy of Elemental Hero Honest Neos. This card is a really good one-of hand trap in the deck that actually boosts up one of your hero monsters by 2,500 attack points until the end of the turn, which is a crazy powerful effect to just help you OTK your opponent. I then play two copies of Destiny Hero Malicious. Destiny Hero Malicious is a really good 2-of in the deck, as even that you can banish it from your graveyard to special summon another copy of it from the deck, which is a really awesome effect. I then play a single copy of Destiny Hero Denier to go along with the copies of Destiny Hero Malicious. This card combos extremely well with the copies of Malicious because if this card is normal or special summon, you can take a Destiny Hero monster from your deck, graveyard, or that's banished and place it on top of your deck, which is a really awesome effect to use with your copy of Destiny Hero Malicious because if you have one in the graveyard and one that's banished, you can put the one that's banished back on top of the deck and then banish the one from the graveyard to special summon the one you just put back into the deck, which is really awesome. This card also has a really good effect that if you have a Destiny Hero monster on the field or in your graveyard other than a copy of this card, you can special summon this card from your graveyard, but you can only use that effect once per duel. We then play a single copy of Destiny Hero Plasma. Plasma is an insanely powerful boss monster that we're trying to get on the field as quickly as possible in this particular build. It's very easy to summon to your side of the field because it cannot be normal summoned or set. It must be special summoned from your hand by attributing 3 monsters that you control, and it cannot be special summoned by other ways. You negate the effects of all face-up monsters that your opponent controls, and once per turn, you can target one monster that your opponent controls and equip that monster to this card, and it gains half the attack of that monster, which is a really powerful effect to be able to use with this card. This card can get absolutely massive, and it's basically a walking one-sided skill drain for the opponent and a relinquished, which is absolutely crazy. And then play a single copy of Destiny Hero Dark Angel. Dark Angel is a really good 1-of in the deck that is super easy to lock down the opponent with, because if you have 3 or more Destiny Hero monsters in your graveyard, you can discard this card and then target a Destiny Hero monster in your graveyard and special summon it to your opponent's field in defense position, which is always going to be this card that you're going to be giving to your opponent. Now the really cool thing about this card is if you give it to your opponent, then when a spell card or effect is activated, you negate the effect, basically making it so your opponent cannot activate spell cards. In combo with cards like Rivalry of Warlords, you can even shut down your opponent from summoning unless they're playing warrior monsters, which is really cool. We then play 3 copies of Vision Hero Ferris. Vision Hero Pharaohs is a great starter for the deck and has the ability you can discard one other hero monster to special summon this card from your hand, and if this card is normal or special summon, you can place a Vision Hero monster from your deck except another copy of this card in your spell and trap card zone as a continuous trap card, which is a great effect to be able to use with this card. And the card we're always going to put in our back row is our copies of Vision Hero Increase. Now you can cut this card down to 1, but I really like this card as a 2-of in the build, because if you draw into it, it really shuts down the copy of your Vision Hero Pharaohs, which is why I like to play the second copy. This card has a really good effect that if this card is a continuous trap in your back row, then you contribute a monster on your side of the field to special summon this card to your side of the field. Then you can special summon a level 4 lower Vision Hero monster from your deck, which is always going to be your copies of your Vision Hero Vion. Vision Hero Vion is a really good 2-of in the deck and has a really good effect that if this card is normal or special summon, you can send a hero monster from your deck to the graveyard, which is usually going to be your copy of your Malicious or your copy of your Shadow Mist, depending on if you use E and Shuffle to get the search off the copy of Shadow Mist. But this card also has a really good effect that you can banish one hero monster from your graveyard to add a Polymerization from your deck to your hand, which will get you into a bunch of different plays like your copy of Sunriser. So that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get into the spells. So for the spells, we're going to be playing a single copy of Rhoda because we are playing a bunch of warrior monsters in this deck. So this card comes in extremely handy to search the exact card you need when you need it. I then play a single copy of Called by the Grave just to make sure we don't get hand trapped while we're going in for all of our hero combos. We then play a single copy of Polymerization. This card is searchable off your copy of Vision Hero Vion, which is why we just play a single copy of this card. I have considered bumping this card up to 2 in this particular build, but for right now, we're just playing a single copy. I then play a single copy of Miracle Fusion. Miracle Fusion is searchable off of Sunriser, and this card is absolutely crazy because you just banish the materials from the graveyard to fusion summon an Elemental Hero Fusion monster from your extra deck, which is a really powerful effect to be able to use and go into some really awesome boss monsters. We then play 2 copies of E in Shuffle. This card is absolutely insane. I love this card. It helps with the consistency of this deck so much, and it's so powerful. It has the ability to shuffle an Elemental Hero or a Neospatian monster that you control back in the deck, and if you do, special summon an Elemental Hero or Neospatian monster with a different name from your deck, which is really cool because you can like normal summon out your copy of Stratos and then shuffle back to Stratos with E and Shuffle to be able to summon out Shadow Mist and get a search of a change quick play spell like your copy of Mass Change, which will get you a double search off this card, which is really, really good. This card also has a really awesome effect that you can banish this card from your graveyard and then shuffle from your graveyard into your deck either an Elemental Hero monster or a Neospatian monster or an Elemental Hero Neos to draw a card, which is a great effect just to give you a +1 off of banishing this card from the graveyard while also recycling resources. This card is a definite 2-of in this deck. I'm then playing 2 copies of D-Force. D-Force is really good in this build, and I really, really like this card comboed with my copy of Destiny Hero Plasma. This card has a really insane effect that it gives Plasma multiple buffs by activating this card, and when this card is activated, you get to add a Destiny Hero Plasma from your deck or graveyard back to your hand. And while you control Destiny Hero Plasma, you apply the following effects that you don't draw during your draw phase. Your opponent cannot target cards you control with card effects, and each Destiny Hero Plasma that you control gains 100 attack for each monster in the graveyards, and it cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. And it also has the ability that it can make a second attack during each battle phase, which is a really insane effect that you can just go in, take an opponent's monster, and then attack twice with the copy of Plasma, which is really good. Essentially dealing with 3 monsters that your opponent controls, while also being a walking skill drain that is now untargetable and cannot be destroyed by card effects. That is really big and really insane. I then play 3 copies of Fusion Destiny. Fusion Destiny is really good in this deck to help us step into our copy of Destiny Hero Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer. This card is super good in the deck and just a great 3-of in this build. I'm then playing 3 copies of A Hero Lives. A Hero Lives is a really good 3-of that if you control no face-up monsters, you can pay half your life points to special summon a level 4 lower Elemental Hero monster from your deck, which is usually going to be your copy of Stratos that you're instantly going to special summon from the deck and get a search to start all of your plays. I then play 3 copies of Mass Change. Mass Change is a really good 3-of in the deck that lets you change one of your monsters on your side of the field that's a hero monster into a masked hero, which is really insane because we're usually going to go in for a copy of Dark Law with this card. I'm then playing 3 copies of Pot of Prosperity. Pot of Prosperity is really good just to help you dig into the deck and help you go for the combo pieces that you need so that you can go in for game and set up a really insane board. So this card is a definite 3-of in this build. So that's it for the spells, guys. Let's get into the traps. So for the traps, we're just going to be playing 3 traps in this build, and that's going to be 3 copies of Rivalry of Warlords. This card is a really good 3 in the deck because pretty much all we're summoning in this build is warrior type monsters, and it makes it so each player can only control one type of monster. Now this card has a really neat interaction with your copy of your Destiny hero Dark Angel, because if you give this card to the opponent and it's the only card that they have on their side of the field, they can only control warrior monsters, which is really cool because they already control a warrior. I really like this combo because it really shuts down your opponent from summoning, and it shuts down their spell cards, which is really, really good. And they're really going to have to use a bunch of resources to out that combo, which is really nice. So that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get into the extra deck. So for the extra deck, we're going to be playing a single copy of Destiny Hero Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer. This card is one of the most powerful boss monsters ever printed. It can pop a card every single turn, and when it touches the graveyard, it can bring itself back during the next standby phase. This card is definitely a 1-of in the deck, but you only really need a single copy of Destiny Hero Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer. But this card comes in extremely handy in the deck as well, because monsters your opponent controls also lose 200 attack for each hero monster in the graveyard, and it's super easy to put upwards of 10 hero monsters in the graveyard, giving your opponent's monsters a 2,000 reduction of attack points. I then play a single copy of Destiny Hero Dangerous. This card is just a backup card, just in case you need to go into another Destiny Hero fusion monster, because you've already gone into Destiny Hero Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer. This card is also really good because quick effect, you can discard a card to send a Destiny Hero monster from your hand or deck to the graveyard. If you do, Destiny Hero monster you control gain 200 attack for each Destiny Hero monster in the graveyard until the end of the turn, which is a pretty good effect to be able to use as a Foolish Burial, while also getting cards that you might not need in your hand into the graveyard. We then play a single copy of Sunriser. Sunriser on summon searches out a copy of Miracle Fusion, which is really big. This card also buffs up your other hero monsters, which is really good because it must be fusion summon, and monsters you control gain 200 attack for each different attribute that you control, which can be quite a few attributes in this particular deck to give your monsters some big buffs. I then play a single copy of Absolute Zero. Absolute Zero, if it leaves the field, destroys every opponent's monster, which is really big. We play a single copy of Elemental Hero Escurdow. Escurdow is a really awesome card to be able to play in the deck as well, because it gains 100 attack for each Elemental Hero monster in the graveyard, and it's super generic to make because it takes any Elemental Hero plus a Dark monster to make this card. We then play 2 copies of Dark Law. Dark Law is extremely powerful this format. It's just really, really good because it must be special summoned with Mass Change and cannot be special summoned by other ways, and any card sent to your opponent's graveyard is banished instead, which is really big right now, especially with Tearlaments running around. It also has a really good effect that once per turn, if your opponent adds a card from their deck to their hand, except during the draw phase or damage step, then you banish a random card from your opponent's hand, essentially being an Ash Blossom but banishing the card, which is really good. We then play a single copy of Masked Hero Acid. This card is for the Acid Absolute Zero combo, where you can destroy every card on your opponent's side of the field by turning a copy of Absolute Zero into Acid, which will activate the effect of both of them to destroy all monsters and then all spells and traps. We then play a single copy of Masked Hero Blast. Blast is a really good 1-of in the deck to turn Stratos into this card, which is really, really nice. We then play a single copy of Trinity. Trinity just helps us OTK in the deck, because during the turn this card was fusion summoned, its attack is doubled to 5,000. And the fusion summon of this card, or this card's fusion summon, it can attack 3 times during each battle phase, and this card cannot attack your opponent directly. But that's still really big that you can attack 3 times the turn this card is fusion summoned with a 5,000 attack point monster to just help you go in for game. I then play a single copy of Dread Decimator. This card is a really good 1-of that can also boost up your hero monsters on your side of the field, which is really good, and it does piercing damage, which can help you go in for game. And then a single copy of Wonder Driver. Wonder Driver is a really good one-up, because if a hero monster is normal or special summoned to a zone that this card points to, you can target a polymerization card or a fusion spell or even a change quick play spell in your graveyard and set it to your side of the field, which is a pretty good effect to recycle some of your resources. I then play 2 copies of Cross Crusader. This card is a key combo piece in the deck because it has a really good effect that if this card is link summoned, then you can target a Destiny Hero monster in your graveyard and special summon it, and then immediately you're going to tribute that Destiny Hero monster with this card's effect to add any hero monster with a different name from your deck to your hand, essentially being a link summon and then search, which is really good. We then play a single copy of Abyss Dweller. I have chose to put Abyss Dweller in this extract because it helps me shut down the opponent's graveyard, which is really, really insane. So that's it for the deck, guys. I hope you did enjoy it. This deck is super fun to be able to play. If you guys have never played Heroes before, you definitely should give this build a try. I really like this one because it really shuts down the opponent with cards like Dark Angel and Rivalry combo, or even just summoning out your copy of Plasma with D-Force will shut down their field, which is really, really good. So that's it for this one, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell in there so you can become part of the notification squad, and we'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.